Can you see the slide movements? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So in the last class, we went for the what we call it as ternary operator. So these are ternary and the nested ternary operators. So these are the operators that are coming under what we call it as the conditional operators there. Sorry, conditional statements there. So then we'll proceed with next bit, unconditional control are the branching statements. So there are various unconditional branching statements. Few of them are important, so that we usually use inside our programming, and some we always say them not to use. Okay, but for our sake, we'll be studying those things, but I at least suggest not to use that particular command. So whenever we say unconditional branching, okay, so the meaning of unconditional means I'm not placing any condition, but I'm interested to skip some of the statements. So you already studied in the conditional statement, you wrote something like if followed by a certain condition, then you wrote some statement over here, and if this is true, then you executed these statements. If it is false, then you went for what we call it as else part, and you have written some statement for this, then you executed these statements. Either these statements or these statements are executed, not both. Please remember that whatever I say, right? So now if this condition is true, only these statements are executed and these are skipped. If this condition is false, these statements are skipped, these are executed there, right? Okay, so now depending on this particular condition and the trueness and falseness of that particular condition, either these statements or these statements are executed, right? So meaning of that is we are going to skip some of the statements there, right? We are skipping, either these statements are skipped or these statements are skipped, but that purely depends on this condition. That's what we have studied in the conditional statements. But if you go ahead with unconditional statement, okay, I'm not writing any statement, but I wanted to skip these statements. Okay, so I've written some statements over here, maybe one or two or three statements there, right? So I wanted to skip these statements, but I'm not placing any condition here. So if it is possible for you people to skip these statements without placing any condition, then I call it as a unconditional control statements or branching statement. Right? So that's what we are going to study under this particular heading there. Okay, so there are a variety of unconditional branching statements that are supported by C language. So those are, first one, if you look at this, you have go to statement, break statement, continue and a return. So you already used this break statement, you already know about the meaning of this, okay, because in switch statement, you wrote some, value or variable here. So depending on this particular choice or the evaluation of that particular expression, so you wrote something like case 1, case 2 or some character there. So every case statement must end with the break, that what we have suggested, right? So we already used this break statement, you know the usage of this break statement. So if you use that break statement, you know that case 1, if I write some statement, then if I use a break statement, then the meaning of this is, so soon after execution of a break statement, any statement that is following the break statement, following the switch statement will be executed. Even though there are so many cases after this case 1, so those will not be executed. That is what is the meaning of break, right? You already studied, and I mentioned the same thing when I taught you about the switch statement. So I hope you know this. Hello? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So any difficulty in usage of the break statement there? Hello? Any problem in usage of the break statement? It's a one simple statement, that is break followed by semicolon there, and this we people are using in case of the switch statement. Not only in switch, we can use this inside the looping statement also. There also I'll take up this, okay, once we go ahead with the looping statement. But you already know the meaning of this. It is going to break that particular stuff there. Okay, so wherever you are using that break, Okay, the statement which are following this particular break will not be executed. So if I write here, so let me take two cases I have written. Okay, so case 1, case 2, and default here if I have written here. So one statement I have written, then I have used the break here, then one more statement, then I have used the break here, and default statement, then I have written something for this, and this is coming under the switch statement. So in this case, so depending on a choice value or depending on a switch value, okay, so let's assume I have executed the case 1. So this is a statement that is executed. Soon after execution of this, so you are going for the break statement. So the meaning of this break is, so it has to break from this particular switch statement. So you have to go ahead with the statement which are following the, the switch statement. I hope I'm making it clear. Okay, so you are not going ahead with case 2. Okay, you are not going ahead with the default statement there. If break is executed, so you have to come out of this particular switch statement that you have used here. And you have to execute the statement which are following the switch statement there. Are you clear with the statement, break statement, students? Hello? Any doubt in the break statement? Maximum time in the final exam, they'll ask, write the difference between the break statement and the continuous statement. Okay. So you have to be very careful. So you have any doubts, you people can ask me. And I mentioned that this break can be also used inside the looping statement. How it is used inside the looping statement, that is iterational looping, iteration 1. So that we'll be studying in the upcoming classes. So in this case, I mentioned about the usage of a break inside the switch statement. Any doubt regarding switch, break? Hello? Hello students, do you have a to break? Hello? Hello? Do you have any doubt, students?
No, ma'am.
So let's go ahead with the other statement. So before again I go ahead with the go to statement, right? So I would like to say about the return statement. So return usually used as a last statement of the functions. Okay, you already know about that. If I use int main there, what is the last statement of int main? Any one of you?
Return 0.
Very good.
Return 0.
Correct. Okay, so this is the return. How do we use? So similarly, so here it is main function that is required for any of the C languages. Any of the programs that we are writing using a C language there. Okay, so if you wanted to write your own user defined functions also, there also if you are writing some function, something like this, okay, something like int f1, if you write like this, and the last statement of this should be again returned there. Okay, so every function must end with the what we call it as a return statement. So return is helping us to come back to the calling function here. What is the meaning of that calling function and other things we'll be looking once we go ahead with what we call it as the functions there. But I'm just talking about how you people have used inside the main function. Similar to that, you people can use this return inside the user defined functions also. This must be a last statement inside the any of the functions. Here also if you look at this is a last statement. So what it is going to do, so it is helping the particular main function, execution of this main function should go back to the calling function, that is operating system here. Okay, it is returning 0 means it is going because it's an operating system which has initialized or which has initiated the execution of this particular main function there, right? So once it is executed there, it has to come back to the calling function, which has called, it's the operating system. That's why it is going back to the operating system here. This is what is the meaning of return. So every function usually ends with the return statement. So this return function is used inside the functions. Is that clear, students? Is that clear, students?
Yes, ma'am.
To statement, one more is continue here. So I'll be talking about the meaning of this continue once I talk about the looping statement. Because if you don't know anything related to looping statement, it becomes very hard for us to talk about the continue statement there. Okay, so that's why I'll discuss about this particular continue unconditional branching statement during the looping statement. Right? But you have to, whenever it is asked in the final exams, write the unconditional branching statement. You have to talk about all these four. Okay, so go to statement, break statement, continue, and return. You have to write about all these statements. Right? So let's go ahead with the go to statement. So I'll talk about go to statement now. Okay, so now look at the go to statement. Okay, as it is unconditional statement, you already know. Okay, so without any condition, we are just simply jumping from, okay, or skipping some of the statements here. How do I write? What is the syntax that is used for writing the go to statement there? So syntax for go to is very simple there. Okay, so I'll use the statement called as, or the syntax called as go to followed by any label there. Okay, any label that you are interested to give for it. Okay, so now that we people can study here, we can look into that here. So go to, it's given as label here. So then whenever it is executing go to statement, where it has to go? So it has to go to a particular label where this particular label is appearing there. So label is appearing here. Okay, so it will go to this and it will start executing the instructions following this particular label here. Okay, so this is how it is working there. So I'll take simple example for this also once I take up the other part. Okay. Now if you look at go to statement here, right? So we people can think of going ahead with the jumping towards a back side or jumping towards a front side, right? So we call it as the forward jump and the backward jump. Okay, so in the first case it is a forward jump. The meaning of that is, so if I use a go to statement here, okay, followed by the label here, so where I am jumping, I am going to go ahead with the statement that is written after the label here. Right, so I am jumping, okay, I am skipping these statements, that is statement 3, 4 and 5 are skipped there, and I am directly jumping to execute the statement 6, which is written after the label here. Right, but if you go ahead with this statement, okay, so now after execution of statement 1 and statement 2, I have written something like label here. Then I'll continue with statement 3, statement 4, statement 5, but whenever a go to statement is executed here, so I have to go to this particular label, right? So where this label is, so it is available here. So it is coming back here and it will start executing the statement 3, 4 and 5 here. So I'm jumping back here, that's why it's a backward jump. Here I'm jumping forward, that's why it is called as a forward jump. Is that clear, students? Is it clear, students? Okay, so now very simple this one. Okay, so go to is the syntax followed by any label. So if I write it as A, or if I write it as, okay, something like B or something like 10, any number is also okay. So naturally people will write the numbers for this. So go to, if I write 20 here, okay, so if I end with the semicolon here, so I have written some statement after this, then I'll write it as 20 here, then I'll write some of the statement for this. Meaning of this, whenever go to is executed, it will check for the label that is 20 here. So it is going to, it will go in search of this particular 20 label. So this 20 label is found here. It will start executing the statements that are written after the label 20 here. This is how it is working. So this is what we call it as the forward jumping. So if you go ahead with the backward jumping here, so if I write here, I've written statement 1, statement 2, then I'll write something like 30 over here, then again some statements here. Please remember, after label you have to write the colon. Okay, after the label that you have given here, you have to write the colon here, right? Then statement, okay, then again if I use go to something like 30 here, okay, so whenever it is it is going to, compiler is going to execute this statement, then this statement, then this statement, this statement, this statement. Once it comes across go to, it will check for the label here. So label given is 30. Where is 30? 30 is here. So it is coming back here and it will start executing the statements which are following this 30 label here. Is it okay, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's look into the example for more clarification. Okay, so program to read only positive numbers. Okay, I'm interested to read only positive numbers. And how can I write the program for this using a go to statement? Right, so how do you check whether the number is positive or not?
Number greater than
Greater
zero.
than 0.
Correct? Okay, let's look into that. Can anybody tell how can you write the program for this? Any one of you can suggest me? How can you think of writing the program which can read only the positive numbers? Can you think? Anybody?
Ma'am, number should be greater than 0.
Yeah, so that's okay. So if I write here, if number is greater than 0, then I'll be accepting it. Otherwise, I am rejecting it. Right? So again, I have to come back and I have to say that it's not a positive number. So you have to read the number. Correct? So next time again, if you are reading a negative number, then also it is saying that it is a negative number. You have to read a positive number because this program is making you people to read only positive numbers. So I'm asking what may be the logic that you people can put forward to read only the positive number. This is okay. So other than this, along with this, you have to use something because I said so it has to accept only the positive number. If I read negative, it will again ask you people to read the positive number there.
And we can use go to statement also.
So go to statement only we have to use. Okay, because along with go to statement, okay, so now I have to use that particular conditional statement, that is if statement, because I have to
Yes,
check whether it is a positive
number
number
greater
or not.
than 0.
Yeah, you
And
tell me
number is
how do I read? That is my question now.
uh, first int number declaring, then
You forget about
positive.
declaration. Okay, so you just tell me the logic. How can I read the positive numbers only?
If we have to declare positive dot there, then if a number greater than 0, it is a printed accept the number, and else go to positive.
If it is greater than 0, accept the number. What does it mean? I didn't understand.
Just,
Else,
print that
what should I
number.
do? Else, what I have to do?
Go to positive, ma'am. We should declare a positive.
Where I have to declare? Yes. Hmm. You are on a right track. You just complete it. Where
Printf
do I write
percentage
that?
d
You just tell.
positive number.
You have to read only positive number. Okay, so now you are almost there. Okay, so now, but you are not telling where to write what. You are saying it is greater than 0, you accept it. Okay, so write something like it's a positive number, you accept it. Else, what should I do?
else go to ma'am
Go
positive
to,
number.
go to some number. Okay, where do I write this number then?
And we have to means after declaration we have to declare some positive
Oh, okay.
variables.
Okay, so now I'll write here. I'll ask you people to read the number there. Is it okay? Is this okay? Is this logic is okay? Is this logic is okay? This is fine. No issue. Clear? Hello.
Yes,
Please
ma'am.
participate in the
Yes,
in
ma'am.
the. Okay. All right. So let's look into the stuff now. So this as usual. All right. Okay. We'll go ahead with declaring the floating point values there. What you are doing? Printf, enter. What you are saying? Enter the value of x. Right. So I am reading that value. Right. If it is less than 0, I'll go back. Correct? It's a negative number. Correct, no? Say something.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It's a negative number. So what should I do? So I'll tell you people read only positive number and I'll go back. Where is read? Read is again here. Correct? Is it okay? Again
Yes,
it
ma'am.
is asking me enter the value of x. Now again you are going to read this value. Correct? Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Not doing anything much there. Whatever. Okay, so once who has said the answer previously? Maybe Omkar or maybe who said?
Yes, ma'am.
Omkar.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Right. So the same logic I have used. There he used greater than 0 and else in else part he said me to write go to. Here I am using it inside the if statement itself. That's all. Lesser than 0 I am using. The same concept. Whatever he mentioned, I have written the same thing there. Okay, let's assume here because we cannot find the square root of a negative number. Is it possible for you people to find the square root of a negative number there? Is
No,
it
ma'am.
No, ma'am.
possible? No, no. It becomes imaginary, no?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Right. So in that
Yes,
case,
ma'am.
you have to ask the people to read only positive numbers. How can you do that? So this is the simplest logic. Right. Let's look into this. So I've created two memories. Right. So I'm asking you to. It is going to display you enter the value of x. So I'll read x is equal to -4. Okay. Let's assume I am reading x is equal to -4 here. Right. So now what it is going to do? It will check for this condition. What is this value? X is. What is x value?
-4.
-4. Is -4 is less than 0?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Is it true or false?
True.
So which statements
True.
are executed?
True, ma'am.
Which statements are executed?
Inside the loop, ma'am. If loop.
Very good.
Negative number
Okay, so now these are the statements which are following the if are executed. Okay, so now it is going to print negative number is entered, enter only positive number. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so after doing that, what it is going to do?
Yes, ma'am.
It will go to
Go
read.
to
It
read.
will go to read. Okay, so now where is read?
After declaration, right after
Correct,
declaration.
it is read is here. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Then again, what it is asking for?
I can enter the value.
Enter the value of x. So now I am going to enter the value of x as 8 now. Right? So is 8 is greater than lesser than 0?
False.
False. Am I
False.
entering into the if statement now?
No, ma'am.
No.
No.
So what should I do now? I have to go ahead with the statement written after the if statement. Correct, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? It is a simple if that
Yes,
I have
ma'am.
used here. It's a simple if that I have used. I don't have any else part for this. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So any doubt regarding this, students? Have any doubts? Please clarify. Is it a backward go to statement or a forward go to statement?
Backward.
Have you understood then? So it is going back here and it is re-executing these statements again. So any doubt regarding this?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so now I'll just,
No, ma'am.
so shall I execute this and show it to you people?
Yes, ma'am.
Want me
ma'am.
to execute this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
If you say yes, then only I'll execute. Otherwise,
Ma'am.
I'll not be executing the statements. Okay, program, because it has to come from you. It's only not me who has to work on it. Correct? Okay, I'll just show.
Yes, ma'am. Execute this code.
Can you see the program? Okay. First, I'll save the program. Okay, what is the error it is throwing to me? Can anybody read it for me? Hello? Hello, students?
Ma'am, only presentation is visible.
This is not visible. Okay.
No, ma'am.
Now, is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it visible? Okay. Now, what is the, error it is throwing to me? Can anybody see?
SQRT, ma'am. It should include a header file.
What header file I am supposed to include?
Math.h.
Very good. Okay. So it's a math function and it is telling me that I have not used the square root of, the math function to execute this square root function. Okay. I already mentioned if you are using the mathematical, functions there inside your program, you have to include the math.h. Okay. That's what the error it is showing it to me. Hash include math.h. Is it okay now? I'll compile it. Now it is compiled properly.
Yes.
Is it okay? Okay. Next I'll run this. Okay. It is asking me to enter the value of x. If I enter something like -8, what it has to do? what it has to do?
Enter value for x, ma'am. It should give output means directly read number. Again, once again.
Okay, fine. Now it is telling me negative number is entered. Enter only the positive number. Enter the value of x. Right? Again, if I enter -4, what it is going to do?
It will show same thing, ma'am.
Very good. It will show the same thing. Until you enter the positive number, it will be in the loop itself. We call it as infinite loop. Okay. It is loop forever. Until you enter the positive value, it will be inside the loop itself. I hope it is clear to everybody. So this is the actually, okay, some people will take it in a positive sense and some people will take in a negative sense of the usage of this go to statement, because the go to statement make the program to enter into infinite loop here. Now look at this, it is infinite loop only until I enter the positive value, because that is a condition that I have placed. So it will be in the loop itself. Some people will take it in a positive sense and they'll make use of it. But few people will misuse this and make the system or the make software to enter into infinite loop there. It never comes out of that particular infinite loop at all. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you have to be very careful. Now I am going to enter 4. Okay, is it a positive value?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what is your expectation for this?
Enter number is positive, ma'am.
Correct? Right? So here it is showing me the square root of a number, because after this I told you to print calculate the square root of a number and you have to print the square root of a number. That's what it is showing here. So entered value is, it's a positive value, that's why the square root of a number is 2.000. It is showing it to me. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this is how it is working. Now can you see the slides?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now look at the stuff. So I've given something there. Enter the value of x there. -20 I have entered. So negative number and negative number is entered there. Enter only positive numbers. Okay, so again we are reading the values there, value there. Then it is 16 that is read. So square root of x is 4. It is displaying. Is it okay? Is it okay,
Yes.
students? Okay, so now I'll show you one more program. Okay, so now you have to tell me what this program is doing. And what is the output that you people can expect out of it?
It is giving a output as sum of n numbers. 10 numbers, first 10.
First 10.
Yes, ma'am.
Everybody?
No, ma'am.
Any 10 numbers, ma'am.
Any?
Any 10 numbers that is greater than 10.
Yeah, tell me, tell me. Any? 10
Any
numbers?
10 numbers
Any
greater than 10.
10
10
numbers.
numbers. Any 10 numbers sum.
Any 10 number sum? Is it doing?
No, ma'am. First 10
Greater than
numbers, 0 to 10.
0 to 10. Some students are saying it is 0 to 10. Any 10 numbers you are saying. Okay, which one is the right answer for this? How do you
0
say
to
it is
10.
any 10 number? Any 10 numbers? Okay,
It is first 10 only because
first 10
if
only.
number greater than 10, go to end, it will print to statement.
Okay, so now some students were saying any 10 numbers. What do you mean by any 10 numbers there? Make it fast. Some students were saying any 10 numbers. How do you say it is any 10 numbers? That is my question. Make it fast. Why you people simply keep quiet? I really don't understand. Okay, Onkar has said that it is taking the number from 0 to 10 and it is adding these 0 to 10 numbers. Okay, 0, then 1, then 2, then up to 10 numbers it is going to add. So this is said by Onkar. And some people said that any 10 numbers it is going to take and it is going to add. Any 10 numbers means what 10 numbers it is going to take? Make it fast. Don't simply waste my time. Okay, I hope you people are not interested to say anything, so I'll not be giving any explanation for that also. Because no response from your side, so there is no point in talking with you people. So how many times I've said, I told about this program. Now also, I'm asking the same thing, except one, nobody is answering correctly. Okay, so this is all about the, okay, what we call it as the go-to statement, that is unconditional statements. All right? Okay, we'll go ahead with the next bit of it. All right. Okay, so now it's your interest, because if you don't show the interest, then okay, there is no point in saying anything to you all. Many times I say you people, so be interactive with me, interact with me. You don't show any interest in that. Okay, that is a greatest drawback of all of you. So I'll take up one more simple example. Okay, so now. Okay. So can you see the slides? Can you
Yes,
see
ma'am.
the slides? Hmm? Hello, can you see the slides?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So it is one more program. Okay. So how much it is possible today? I'll talk about that much. Develop a program to compute roots of a quadratic equation. Okay. So how do you? What is quadratic equation? Can anybody tell me what is a quadratic equation? What is a quadratic equation, students?
Polynomial
Hello.
expression with
Polynomial expression
degree 2.
with degree 2. Very good. So can I write ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0 is a quadratic equation?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Okay. So any polynomial whose degree is 2, the maximum degree is 2, then I call it as a quadratic equation. It's the so I think it's maybe the 7th standard maths or the 6th standard maths, right? Okay, so we know this. And how do we find the what do we call it as the roots of this particular equation? how do we find the roots of the quadratic equation? Do you have any formula to find the, pardon?
X equals to minus b plus or minus under root b square minus 4ac divided by 2a.
Very good. X is equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. Is it okay? So how many values that you people can have for this x?
2 values, ma'am.
2 values. Why 2 values?
Because its highest degree is 2, it will give.
Very good. Okay, it's a quadratic equation. Its highest degree is 2. We can expect 2 answers for this. So one is positive answer. I'll write it as minus b. Okay, plus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. Another one is x is equal to minus b minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. Correct? Is this okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So any doubt regarding this? Any doubt regarding this? Okay, I'm not saying anything. This is the mathematical expression that I have taken. And I know that for any quadratic equation, there are 2 solutions. That's what I have written here. This is the first solution. This is the second solution. Is this okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubt inside this?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No,
Then,
ma'am.
what do you mean by this A, B and C in this case? What do you mean by A, B, C? Where do I get this A, B and C values?
Those are coefficients.
Correct? So these are the coefficient of the given equation that you have to remember. Okay? I hope I am making it clear to everybody. So these are the coefficients. You will be given with an expression there, and from that expression you have to pick these coefficients to find the value of the Cx here. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that's what they are saying. So they are telling us read the coefficients and try to find the x value there. Develop a program to compute the roots. Okay, roots of a quadratic equation. There are 2 roots because its power is 2 here. There are 2 roots. So now we are trying to find the square root of the particular quadratic equation. Roots of the quadratic equation by accepting the coefficients. Which are the coefficients? A, B and C are the coefficients. We are accepting those things and we are trying to find the square root of a given expression there using this particular formula. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what are the cases that we need to consider whenever we go ahead with this? What are the cases usually we consider?
B square minus 4ac must be greater than 0, ma'am, since it is in square root.
Okay. The first thing is you are going to calculate the discrimination or discriminator. So discriminator in this case is b square minus 4ac. So I have an equation x is equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a here. Okay, this term is called as discriminator. So discriminator should be
Greater than or
there are
equals to
3
0.
cases for this. Discriminator, okay, should be greater than 0. Discriminator must be maybe equal to 0. Discriminator may be less than 0. These are the 3 cases that are found for this particular b square minus 4ac. Correct? Correct, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. If discriminator is greater than 0, what is your expectation for the square roots of x? Are the quadratic equation? Roots of a quadratic equation? If this
Complex
term is
number, ma'am.
pardon?
It will be give real roots.
Because this is a positive number, correct? Square root of a positive number is always a positive number there, correct? No?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So then I am expecting, if it is greater than 0, I am expecting the real roots, correct?
Yes,
I am
ma'am.
expecting the real roots. Agreed?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. What is the second case?
Both
will give
roots are
equal roots.
equal, ma'am.
Both roots are equal, correct? So this term becomes equal to 0. I have only minus b by 2a value that is left out. So here roots are real and equal. Here real roots but not equal, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Agreed for these things? So I'm not talking about the
Yes, ma'am.
mathematics behind that. I'm just telling you what kind of roots that you people can expect for the quadratic equation. Okay, it purely depends on b square minus 4ac value. If it is greater than 0, I'll be getting the real roots, but they are not equal. If this discriminatory term is 0 there, then whatever results are the square roots that I'm getting there, those both are real and equal there. Both are equal, you already know. So I'll get this as minus b by 2a there. If it is less than 0,
Complex number, ma'am. Roots.
very good. It's an imaginary number. Imaginary roots. Is it okay? Is this okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Clear everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just open the last year question paper. There they have asked, okay, for 10 marks this question. Write the program, the same thing, whatever I have given here. Develop a C program or write a C program to compute the roots of a quadratic equation by accepting the coefficients and print the appropriate message. If you write considering all the cases, then you'll be getting 10 marks for this. If you miss any of the bits, okay, then you are going to lose the marks for this. So it was asked for 10 marks. Just open the last year question paper. I have given you the question papers. You people can see the question papers there. So this is the things that you have to consider here, right? That's what I'm conveying here. What you have to see, you have to check for the, okay, b square minus 4ac. If b square minus 4ac is greater than 0, then it is the roots are distinct and real there. And next, if it is equal to 0, then the roots are equal. Okay, and if it is less than 0, then the roots are imaginary. Is it okay, students? Any doubt regarding that?
No, ma'am.
No,
Okay.
ma'am.
Right, so that you have to calculate. First, you have to calculate the discriminator. So I'll write this as b square minus 4ac, and depending on this value, I'll be going ahead with the calculation of the x1 and x2. These are the square root of a, I'll assume these are the square roots of a given number there. If it is greater than 0, discriminator is greater than 0, then x1 is equal to what? X1 is equal to what? First root is equal to what? If it is greater than 0, this you have already calculated.
Real, ma'am.
Discriminator. X1 is equal to,
Real and
yeah, what is the
Real
value?
and distinct.
Yeah, what is the value? That's what I'm asking. Now you
Greater
have to
than
find the
minus
0.
b
value.
plus
Minus
divided by
b
2a
plus
plus discriminant.
plus
Discriminant.
only discriminant. I have not taken the square root of that.
Square root of
Square
discriminant.
root of b square minus 4
Square
is.
root of, don't write this because it is already calculated here. You have that inside the discriminator. I'll simply write it as discriminator. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So this term is nothing but b square minus 4ac over here, because I have already calculated that. Depending on that only I am doing some operation here. If it is greater than 0, I'll do this. Is it okay? Minus b plus square root of discrimination or discriminator divided by
2A.
2A.
2 star
How
A.
do I write 2A? 2 star A.
2 star.
Is this okay to everybody now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next, x2. How do you calculate x2?
minus B minus square root of D.
Very good. Discriminator divided by 2 into A. Is it okay to everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Any
Yes,
Yes,
doubt
ma'am.
regarding this?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
If discriminator is equal to 0, this is a second case. What is x1 and what is x2? x1 is equal to,
Minus B divided by 2A, ma'am.
is it okay? What about x2?
Yes. Same, ma'am. Minus B by
Same
2A.
thing.
Minus B
So
by 2.
can I write this as x1 is equal to x2 is equal to x1?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that okay to everybody now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts? Please clarify now only. Why I'm writing these like this like this? Okay, I'm just checking for a discriminator. So depending on a discriminator value, I'm just trying to find the square root of a given quadratic equation there. Is it okay? Say
Yes,
something,
ma'am.
student. Right? What is the last case? Discriminator is greater than 0. So if it is not greater, sorry, less than 0. If it
Less
is
than
not
0.
greater, if it is not equal to, then it has to be, what is the else part of it? If this is greater than 0, else if equal to 0, what is the else part of it? What is your expectation for discriminator? If discriminator is 0, it is not true. Then I'll go to discriminator is not greater than 0 means?
Roots are imaginary.
No. What is a false condition of this? That's what I am asking.
Less than
Discriminator
0.
not equal, not greater than 0.
Discriminator less than 0.
Only less than 0?
It will check discriminator is equals to 0 also.
Okay. Both the conditions. Discriminator greater than 0. The false condition of this is discriminator may be less than 0 or may
Less
be
than
equal to 0. Correct?
equal to 0.
Both the things are acceptable. What is the else condition of this? Discriminator is equal to 0 or discriminator is less than 0. Is it okay?
Yes,
Is it
ma'am.
a false condition of this particular stuff?
Yes,
Yes,
Say
ma'am.
ma'am.
something, right? Okay. So now again I am coming over here because I know that it is not greater than 0. Then I'll check whether it is equal to 0 or what. Else if I'll check whether discriminator is equal to 0 or what. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is what is a false condition of this now? What is the false condition of this now?
Discriminator greater or less than 0, ma'am.
How can you say greater than? So if this is false only, I am entering here. What is the false condition of this? When do you go to else if statement? If I write here, if A greater than B, okay, I have written some statement. Else if I write A greater than C, okay, when do you go to else if statement? When do you go to else if statement?
First statement is false, ma'am.
What is false? You clearly mention, I have written everything here. What is false condition of this? What is false condition of A greater than B?
Ma'am, it will be went to else if A greater than C.
I am asking you what is a false condition of A greater than B?
A is less than B or equal to B.
Correct, no? Correct, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Agreed? Agreed for that? A should be either less than A should be less than B or A should be equal to B. That is a false condition of this. Agreed for that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now once I go to else if statement, so are you checking that A is less than B or what here? Is it a false condition of this?
Yes, ma'am. False condition.
What I am asking, A greater than A less than B is, okay, sorry, A greater than B is a less, I mean false condition of this or what?
No, ma'am.
If I check for, but you are saying like that for this. Because this condition is false, that's why I am here. But still if I ask what is the false condition of this, you people will say that A is discriminator is greater than 0, madam. So it cannot be, because if this is false only I am entering here. What is the false condition of this? Discriminator is already what is false condition of discriminator is greater than 0?
Discriminator
Less
is
than or
less.
equal to 0.
Less than or
Less
equal
than.
to 0, correct, no? So it cannot be greater than 0. That's what I'm saying. But whenever I enter here, if I ask what is a false condition of this, what you people are saying, you are saying that discriminator is greater than 0 is false condition of this. Is it true?
No, ma'am.
No, no. So that's what I'm saying you. So if else if, so this else if I'm coming, if this condition is false, this is already false. Then that's why I'm here in the else part. Here also I'm checking for a condition. Is discriminator equal to 0 or what? I hope I made it clear. Because you are trying to revisit this if back here. That is not correct. Once you know you have come out of this particular if statement and if you have entered here, so this condition is already failed. You cannot say that the false condition of discriminator equal to 0. The false condition of that cannot be discriminator greater than 0. Am I clear with my statement? Discriminator cannot be
Yes, ma'am.
greater than 0. By mistake also if you say discriminate, that false condition of this particular else if discriminator equal to 0 is discriminator greater than 0, the whole program is going to fail. Are you clear with my statement?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Please remember this. This is very important fact that I am telling to you, right? Because discriminator is not greater than 0. That's why I am entering into else if part. I know it is not greater. Then I'll check whether it is equal to 0 or what. Okay. So what is the false condition of if discriminator equal to else if discriminator equal to 0? Little louder.
Discriminator less than 0, ma'am.
Agreed?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So that's how you have to think. So in that case, what is x1 value? Make it little fast.
Imaginary, ma'am.
Okay, so roots are imaginary. Then you have to calculate the real part separately and imaginary part separately, and you have to just print them together. Okay, what is the real part of that? Real part of the root there?
Minus B by 2A.
Minus b by 2a. Is it okay to everybody? Is it a real part?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what is imaginary part?
Yes, ma'am.
What is imaginary part?
Root of discriminant.
Correct? Square root of discriminant. Only that much?
Star I.
So you don't worry about that I, because in calculation we never take care of I there. While printing only we'll take care of I. What is imaginary? If I write here, this is the square root. Okay, so this is the x1 value. Okay, so I'll write this as minus b plus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. If this is the thing, okay, so now what is the imaginary part among this and what is the real part among this? You people
Real
are
part
saying
is minus b by 2a and
correct,
imaginary
real
part
this.
is
Imaginary part is
plus or minus b square minus
square
4ac
root of
divided by square root
square root of discriminator. I'll directly write divided by
2a.
2a. You here you people are not saying that. So that 2a is also part of this, that you have to remember. You are not saying that. So this 2a is for this minus b also, for this also. That you have to remember. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this you have to remember. So this is the logic behind that. So next class we'll take up the algorithm for this, then we'll write the program for the same. But I'll not be repeating whatever I've said today. Okay, directly I'll be writing the algorithm for these things. To calculate the discriminator directly, I'll check whether discriminator is greater than 0, whether it is equal to 0. If it is not equal, if it is not greater, I know that it is lesser than, then I'll calculate the real and the imaginary roots for that and I'll just print them as it is on the screen there. Clear everybody? Is it clear, students? So please, okay, so now you have to have good hold on the mathematics, then only it becomes very easy for you people to understand this. Okay, so at least you get that much knowledge. Okay, you revisit. Okay, try to understand how can we find the square root of a given quadratic equation. Okay, so when whatever explanation I am giving, so that will be understood by you people. So with this, I close today's session.